Is Gabby and Devin on? All right. Big thick package today. All right, we go ahead and rise for the invitation.
Bow your heads. Thank you for the goodness and mercy that we receive every day. We are here today to discuss topics that will move this establishment forward. Come and take center stage in this meeting. Give us new ideas to be able to stand head and shoulders above our competitors. Grant us the wisdom to make this meeting a productive one. Remove any distractions that will make this meeting unproductive. We start with you and we will end with you. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible. Another roll call.
Yes, sir. Kevin Kishnick.
Here.
Devin Bogda. Susie Sullivan.
Here.
Ed Bennett.
Here.
Caitlin Shu. John Cudd.
Here.
Deanne Haviland. Gabrielle Hillpole. James McGill.
Here.
Deborah Morin.
Here.
Melissa Vela.
Here.
Terry Noel. We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you, Erin. Call to order and determination. We have a quorum. The meeting of the Board of Directors of Nueces County Appraisal District is called to order, and let the record show that the quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called. The notice of the meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Government Code 551, and that any conflicts of interest of affidavits have been received and placed on file as required by law. Do we have any public comment?
No, sir.
Okay, seeing that no public comment. Going to, is copy on the line?
Yes.
I'm gonna move it says to recess, but I'm gonna move to, I'm sorry?
Public hearing's at 9, and notice was sent out that way, so if we could do the public
Okay.
hearing first.
All right, we'll go ahead and do the public
Okay,
hearing
thank
then.
you.
So we will do the public hearing in accordance with that, based on our notice. We're gonna recess the meeting and go into public hearing for the budget.
Yes.
So public meeting for the proposed. So jumping along to,
If you open the public hearing.
so I'll open the public hearing, and the Nueces County Appraisal District will hold a public hearing on the proposed budget for the 2026 fiscal year. The public hearing will be held on Thursday, July 17th at 10 a.m. Nueces County Appraisal District Board of Directors, boardroom located at 201 North Chaparral Street, Corpus Christi, Texas. A summary of the proposed budget as follows. The total amount of the proposed budget is $10,702,150. This is a decrease of $504,205 from the current year's budget. The number of employees compensated under the proposed budget will be 87 full-time and part-time permanent and 20 part-time temporary employees. The number of employees compensated under the current budget is 87 permanent and 20 part-time temporary. The district is supported solely by payments from the local taxing jurisdictions served by the district. If the approved budget of the appraisal district and board of directors at the public hearing, this proposed budget will take effect automatically unless disapproved by the governing bodies of the county, school districts, cities, and towns served by the appraisal district. A copy of the proposed budget is available for public inspection at the office of these governing bodies. A copy is also available for public inspection at the Nueces County Appraisal District office. Deborah Maureen, Interim Chief Appraiser, Nueces County Appraisal District, 201 North Chaparral, Suite 206, Corpus Christi, Texas, 78401. Telephone number 361-881-9978.
If anybody's here for the public hearing tonight.
And do we have anybody here for the public hearing? Nope, seeing none. Close the public hearing. And then we will reconvene our meeting. All right, So, now we're done with that, we will go ahead and move into, I'm going to rearrange the schedule a little bit. We're going to go ahead and move into executive session, item number 16. Executive session, public notice is given. The board of directors may elect to go into executive session anytime during the meeting to discuss matters listed anywhere on the agenda where authorized by Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 Texas Government Code. Should the board of directors elect to go into executive session, the section or sections of the Open Meetings Act authorized by the executive session will be publicly announced by the presiding officer. Upon completion of the executive session, the board of directors may take such action as appropriate in open session. A, consultation with board attorney, deliberation regarding employment, evaluation, reassignment of duties, discipline, or dismissal of the chief appraiser, assistant chief appraiser, Texas Government Code sections 551071 and 551074. And we will now go into executive session.
Can you call the time, please?
And the time is 10, is that 10:09? 10:09.
Oh, minutes.
Okay, the time is now 11:16, and we'll now call this meeting back into order. Discussion or action on the executive session, and there is no action, so we will move on to back to item number 7. Discussion or action on the consent agenda. Approval of the minutes of the June 12th, 2025 regular meeting. Approval of June 2025 disbursements. Receipt of the July 2025 litigation report. Section 2525, correction of appraisal roll notice and financial statement for June 30th. Do we have any questions or concerns on those items for discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by John,
Second.
second by Ed. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, number 8, payer liaison and officers report. Terry.
Good morning. So unusual for me to have to tell you about complaints, but these two were pretty worthy of your notice. One was a property owner. She was very frustrated with the e-file system. And I spoke with both Neil and Daniel about this, so they're aware. Her concern was that she has 6 properties and she e-filed them. Well, every time there is an update to any of those files, they get notification. Well, she was inundated with notifications, and that upset her. And she had requested that, they not send her any more notifications. That request came, of course, after all of them had been sent. We had multiple phone conversations and several email exchanges, but the bottom line was she didn't like the way the e-file system worked. So my suggestion was don't e-file. And we talked about it, and I told her, I said, then file by paper like you have done previously, and you won't get those notifications. At any rate, that was her, after all of this, and this went on for several weeks, that was her biggest issue.
Those notifications are statutory, am I correct?
I believe so. I mean, it's how it works.
Yeah, so.
She thinks there should be a better way, and
Well.
I said I would bring her concerns to you and to IT, and I did.
Okay.
It ended up that one of her problems was she couldn't upload her data, her evidence. It was a busy system, but then in turn she didn't bring it with her when she came for her in-person hearings. So it ended up all working out, and then her biggest issue was the e-file system. And so again, I told her, I said, then don't file that way. That's my suggestion. And she was happy. I said, have we solved this? Have we resolved it? She said, yes, it's fine. So that was good. The other complaint from Mr. Brezel with Ownwell, it's very long story, but anyway, they had some hearings that they wanted to reschedule and notified the ARB at 5:45 in the morning that they wanted to reschedule these hearings, which is fine, except when an agent wants to reschedule, they have to show conflict in another county. And he did not provide that documentation to the ARB, and so Mr. Tiller denied the reschedule. And I mean, I've got to tell you, Mr. Tiller does not make these decisions lightly. He takes everything into consideration, and he looked at everything and he said, no, I'm not going to reschedule. Okay. So this agent got a very threatening tone with Amanda and twice with me. And now has said, he's also notified Mr. Tiller that he is filing a limited binding arbitration, which is his right. Mr. Tiller has a phone call. We talked to the attorney yesterday, and he has a phone call scheduled with her again this morning to see who responds, whether it's Ms. Evertson or Mr. Tiller. But in the meantime, Mr. Brezel has stopped all informal hearings with the appraisal district because he's mad about these 12.
Was there an issue with that particular company last year? And when they late filings and so forth? Okay.
Yes. So it's, anyway, Mr. Tiller will fix this. We'll either, on the advice of their attorney, they'll either reopen them and hear them, or he can file limited binding arbitration, either way. But he did send the notification, so, Mr. Tiller's working on that this morning with the attorney to do that. But, it's been a month. Moving on, several people have expressed interest in the TLO position and are asking about, qualifications and timeline for applying. And I have told them, not on your plate right yet, but that as soon as I know anything, I will let them know. But I just wanted to let you know there are people that are expressing interest in the position, so that's a good thing, I guess. The ARB, and Deborah will have more updated info for you, I think, but as of July 9th, there were more than 37,000 protests filed, and the ARB has heard 2,546 of them. And I have to say, again, God bless the appraisers, because they've worked so hard settling and top lining, and, they've done everything they can for the property owners, and they have really eased the burden for the ARB this year. They worked really hard. So kudos to the appraisers and all the staff, the operators, and God bless the ARB support staff. But everybody's worked really, really hard. So it's been a little smoother this year, but we've also had some issues with some of the agents. So there's been that as well. But anyway, ARB, they're ready. They are ready for a break. We're going to take that 6 weeks and run with it, but they'll be back September 8th to continue with hearings for the 2025 season. So it's getting better.
Very good.
Yay.
Thank you.
I have a
Anybody?
couple, yeah.
Oh,
The first complaint, the lady with the 6 properties,
mm-hmm.
I'm glad you worked with her and she said everything's fine, so that's great. But I'd still like to know, when you said inundated, would you happen to know if it was like a dozen or was it hundreds? I
Yeah.
don't know what that.
Her word, not mine, but because every time anything is added to that file, and she had 6,
I
they
understand.
get, so I don't,
I understand. My question was, do we know specifically how many emails?
no,
Okay.
No.
Is there a way we can find out? And the reason I'm asking is because even though I'm glad you got to that point where this taxpayer was satisfied, I think we still want to offer top-notch service.
Mhm.
And we just want to know. I understand that word is vague, but I think we should find out, because I think it would be unreasonable if my inbox had hundreds. I don't know what inundated means. Can we find that out later?
is
So
that
we
something?
can know if we need to work on that or not. Because the second piece of it is, if it is a mandatory whatever, that's
Right.
and it's reasonable that she got a true update for every change, then that's reasonable. But if there is some kind of tweak, right, or twerk or whatever it is
Yeah.
in the system that it's not reasonable, I think we should look into that and just find out.
Is that something IT
can
people that
follow
we
up.
can,
Okay.
I'll follow
we
up.
can do?
Okay.
Okay.
and Definitely, bring it back
Okay.
next week.
Just
Okay.
curious, yeah.
Yes.
I will work on that. Is that it? Okay.
Thank you very much. And there's no action on that. Discussion and possible action related to the 2026 proposed budget, item number 9. And that would be Deborah. Or, Deborah, sorry.
Irma and Deborah.
Yes. you're different.
Deborah and Deborah.
Okay, so we have given you guys a new booklet for the proposed budget. The numbers did come down a little bit more because there was some personnel, some professional tweaks that we did. So let's see, know that we had the public notice, it was it was a little bit different. It didn't go up, it went down. So that's always a good thing. And so we the first proposed budget that we had given you was for 10,702,150, with a decrease of 504,205, with the positions being 87 and 20 part-time. That has changed. So now, if you look to page 9, it would be 10,683,429. And it's decreased 522,926 because we eliminated a position, and we made our admin full-time, and it changed some, but it's decreased the budget still a little bit more than what we had already decreased it in the first proposed budget. That's the only item that has changed. Everything else has remained the same from the first one.
If you'll look at the insert that's in there, you'll see that, I know here's about what the increases were prior years. You'll see in 2023, the budget increased 8.4%, 24, 10.91%, and this year we're down 4.5. So it's a good trend.
So the
Yeah.
total difference on the salaries page is going to be how much it went down, which is 16,948. And as Irma stated, it is total, we had 107 employees, now we're going to have 106. And we had a part-time administrative clerk. She's going to go to full-time. So those are the two changes that we've implemented. Just in looking at more, I mean, we've had limited amount of time since April 9th to now to really dive into things, but what we can see, we've actually been addressing and trying to change and make it better, kind of making it a little more lean. Definitely we'll continue to look at that.
Thank you very much. Any discussion? Seeing none, we need a motion, correct, to approve the budget?
So it would be approved as amended if everybody is okay with this change, because the proposed budget that you all had in front of you initially is different from this, so it would be approving it with the amended changes.
So to have a motion?
I'll move to approve the budget.
Caitlin moves to approve the budget. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Susie,
Sorry, is it with the changes? With the changes, okay.
with the changes. Second by Susie. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, we'll move on to item number 11, receive report identifying current appraisal district contracts. This is an item we requested last meeting.
So here we have updated the list. The first list that we provided was in March. That was just the 50 and above contracts that require bidding. So now we've provided you with a list of all the contracts and subscriptions per department as well, because every department has subscriptions that they have annually, monthly renewed as well. So this is where we have updated the spreadsheet to be more accurate for your review. And we've made notes. There's a few that we've deleted since we don't have contracts with them anymore. So we cleaned out those contracts. And then also, there's a few that are currently being not negotiated, but or maybe looking for a different vendor after reviewing the contract.
Do we have any critical contracts coming up that we need to, that are time sensitive, so we're not being
So,
forced to approve something?
so right now, the only thing that's coming up, and it's in the packet, it's a subscription that it's our Microsoft 365. It's an annual thing that we have to have. Like I said, it's here in the budget. It's here in the packet. So that's one that we are approving as well. In all these contracts, we also try to do co-ops to make sure that we have to do the bidding process. So,
That was on number 13 of the
yeah.
agenda.
Okay, very good. And this is a non-action item, so does anybody have any questions?
No, this is nice to have.
Yes. Don't want to be
So-
caught
So we're not snuck up on, it's great.
and being forced
Yeah,
to have
thank
to
you, guys.
accept. So thank you very much. And if we can just maybe keep tabs on these contracts and make sure that we have ample notice if we need to change, so we aren't forced to use the same vendors and or same services, and make sure that we're always getting the best deal and the best services possible. That would be
Do
great.
you need to define ample, or, I know it's not an action item, but just a suggestion on what ample is, like 3 or 4 months out, not.
Yeah, sufficient time for us to look for other suitable vendors would be what I would call ample time, and that's going to vary by contract to contract, but for us to actually, at least do some analysis on whether the services are good, whether the people who are using those want to still continue to use those services, whether there's others that may be better, so we have time to deal with that and not forced to keep the same group, like what we saw with the heavy industrial and so forth. And I think there's something else that we're kind of forced our hand into recently, so
So
we just don't want to be in those positions.
would you prefer like 3 to 6 months out
Yeah.
that we
Maybe
look at
just have a
those?
list of contracts and when they're gonna expire, because this doesn't show when in the year they expire, it just says annual, or, so you don't know when that's gonna creep up on you.
Yeah, so if we need to do, like, if we've got to, and those times are going to change, because if we've got to do an RFP or an RFQ, we need to make sure there's adequate time to put those out, so we're not stuck with the same vendors, and make sure we're getting the best service possible at the best rates possible.
One question. On the Microsoft licenses, we have 120. And we have how many employees?
100, well, essentially 106, but I believe Daniel, Neil, possibly we can answer why we would have more licenses.
We have an agenda item specifically on the Microsoft.
Okay, so we'll hit that Microsoft when we get to that one.
Perfect.
Okay.
I think that's the next item, correct?
2 more,
2 more, okay.
the audit and then the licenses,
Okay.
unless you want to take it out of order.
Yeah, well, since it's fresh in our mind, we'll take that out of order in a minute, so
Okay.
we'll pull that item next. Any other questions on this? All right, moving right along, then let's move on to the Microsoft, since that's fresh on the brain. I think what is that, item 13?
So the question was on the count?
Go ahead, at the podium. So you're on record.
So on the count, that also includes our temporary employees that we have to hold the whole year. We can't buy them a month at a time. And then also there are accounts that we implement that are not used by employees, such as emails for our ticketing system, our other services such as that system accounts that require a license.
So anybody with an email has to have a license.
Right, so
And it's a full license for the Microsoft Suite?
it is. And that's the only way we can buy them.
That's a shame.
Well, that's
Yeah, we can,
what I see, at all the employers I've been at, and that's a norm. Like if you have, accounting at Nueces County, that's not a person, but you have, that's, I see that as
But they
very
have,
That's norm.
normal.
Yeah,
they have to
it
take
is.
the Excel license as well.
I
That's
don't.
how they make their money. Unfortunately, that's,
yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's the way, when I first approached them for that, I did have certain email addresses I wanted to get that were specific to our ticket system, our various alert systems. In case we want to give you guys each a separate address, I have to give you a full-blown license.
and I think that was a request we actually had, was to get like emails for the board members, so.
Definitely, we'll take care of that. Look into
Anything else?
That clarifies. Thank you.
I did try to get us cheaper licenses for the low-use ones, but
It's monopoly.
yeah,
Pretty much.
pretty much.
So,
Thank you.
thanks. All right. Any other questions or concerns on item number 13? Back to my agenda.
Motion.
So We have an action to approve, item number 13. Do I have a motion to approve as requested?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Susie,
Second.
second by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, let's go back down to item number 12, discussion and or action related to the 2024 financial audit.
Good morning.
Morning.
For those of you who don't, I think I know most of you here, but for those who don't know me, my name is Jeff Smith, an audit partner with Gowan, Morales and Smith, and we're the ones who are preparing your audit this year. I wanted to come and give you an update. I know originally the anticipation was we would be presenting an audit today. It's just not quite finished yet. The process of an audit can twist and turn, as I'm sure that most of you are aware, and while we aim to meet our deadlines, sometimes they have to be extended. We fully anticipate working with Deborah and Irma that as long as the information continues to flow, that we anticipate being wrapped up and finished for the next meeting, the audit. To give you just a rough estimate of where we believe we are today, we're about a 90% completion. Once we wrap up the little bit of test work that's left, we will be turning over a draft for Irma and Deborah to review, getting the management discussion analysis, and then wrapping up an audit. Just kind of thinking through, talking with Deborah, some of the things that maybe everybody likes to know why. I'd love to give you a great answer as to why, but you guys have dealt with the transition in staff, and with the transition in staff comes different processes of thought. So we've been working with, here's what we've had, here's what we've got, let's kind of make it work together. As the auditors in the room can tell you guys, B101 is an exciting new pronouncement that came out for anybody that started the year after December 15, 2023. So that's new. It's nothing you've ever done before. It's something we're working through. And there's just a handful of other items that we're just still processing through. That's kind of the audit in question. I do know I talked to Susie about a week or two ago about a question regarding governance letters that had come out, and possibly fraud risk letters that came out to the board. You all should have received them. We do request that you respond to them. If not, we will be sending out second requests, just following up, trying to get these things as they are a required process of the audit.
Very good.
That's what I got.
Perfectly understandable. So
Yeah.
we know where we're at, and we appreciate the work you guys are doing.
Is there anything else?
Thank you for waiting.
Thank you very much, and apologize for keeping you waiting. Luck of the draw.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yep.
Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. And there will be no action taken on that audit, so we will just,
Do you want to do a motion to table, that way we can bring it back?
yeah, let's do a motion to table. I need a motion to table the audit until the next meeting. By somebody.
Audit until next meeting.
James makes the motion to table. I need a second.
I'll second.
Second by Caitlin. All in favor? Opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. All right, now we have discussion on request for qualifications for professional appraisal services to include the appraisal of mineral, utility, industrial properties, real property, and approve the amended RFQ order, item number 14. And who has that one?
Veronica Toomey.
Veronica.
Hi, I'm Veronica Toomey with Escutia Woods. I am the consultant for the Nueces County Appraisal District for the requests for qualifications for professional appraisal services. I believe in your packet you have the RFQ document. I'm not going to go into it all, but part one has general information, the types of properties that are in Nueces County. Part two is the scope of services required to be performed by the selected appraisal firm. Part three is the minimum credentials and experience, as well as financial information. And if you look on page 12, there is a calendar of, let's see, page 12, let's see, sorry. Oh, I'm going to take you to page 12 as well, but I think it's page 5. Page 5 is the calendar of events that we'll be having. As well as, I want to also take you to page 12. The evaluation criteria for the RFQ consists of the following. 45% is qualifications. 45% is experience. And 10% is financial capability, that they are financially sound to provide the services. If you go to page 29 of your RFQ document, it gives a detail of how a committee is going to evaluate the RFQs. It's very transparent to the appraisal firms, to the potential appraisal firms. Okay, it's in this RFQ. Okay, so they're going to understand how their RFQ is going to be evaluated. In addition to that, I wanted to give y'all a timeline of the RFQ process. The date of solicitation is tomorrow, July 18th. The RFQ document will be placed on the Nueces County Appraisal District website. The Nueces County Appraisal District will email the RFQ solicitation announcement to the following appraisal firms: Hugh, Landrum and Associates, Ward Law Appraisal Group, Pritchard and Abbott Incorporated, Capital Appraisal Group, and T.Y. Pickett. If an appraisal firm is interested in submitting an RFQ, the firm can obtain a copy from the Nueces County Appraisal District website. We are asking the appraisal firm to make note of the RFQ calendar of events located on page 5. There will be a legal notice. A legal notice for requests for qualification for professional appraisal services will be published in the Corpus Christi Caller Times on July 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Best practices is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're not required to advertise based on the local government code 2254 because it's not competitive. It's based on qualifications and experience. Another resource that I found recently, and I will be doing this for the appraisal district, we're going to put our notice on the Texas Public Notices website. It is a free service that is possible, that was made possible through the newspapers here in Texas. And it's also, it's in relation to the Texas legislature passed a Senate Bill 943 in 2023 to expand transparency. So what this website entails is that municipalities and special districts and local governments can post, are required to post their RFQ, RFP, RFB, and it allows businesses to go to the website and search the website to see what's out there. So it's, again, free of charge. I plan to do this afternoon to set up an account because we will have to post there. We're not required this time around, but we will for the CAMA. When we get to the CAMA, it's a different ballgame because it's competitive. It's going to be an RFP. We're going to have a pre-proposal conference on Friday, July 25th at 9 a.m. here at the Nueces County Appraisal District. An agenda has been prepared. Ms. Moline will introduce the evaluation committee members
give an overview of the RFQ section by section. An RFQ is based on qualifications. It's not based on the bid, what the fee is. So it's based on qualifications and experience. And after we determine that, there's a cost estimation form, which is page 28 in your packet. After we determine the best qualified appraisal firm, then we will determine whether their fee is fair and reasonable. And we can do some negotiation with them. But they're not evaluated. They don't get any points on their fee. Now, an RFP is it's competitive. It's based on it could be software that we're going to be going after, the CAMA. And it's based on the type of software they're going to be providing, but it's also competitive. It's based on price as well. So that is the difference, and it's a bid process where a factor. We're going to have one of the evaluations of an RFP, not only the software being provided, what they provide in their software, but they also get points for price. And an RFQ, there's no points for price.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Sorry, you know a lot more about this than I do. But can you tell me, when I look at these dates on page 5, they seem like quick.
They are.
Does it seem like that's reasonable and that we would get?
We'll know.
What we,
We'll know Friday. Friday
okay.
at the pre-conference.
okay.
So, and that's why I mentioned that we hope to come back, but we don't want to rush through the process.
Yeah.
But we need to start.
Yes.
We need to start. So if we can't start service on September 1st, we'll take it to October 1st. We just want to make sure the process is transparent and there's accountability and it's fair and impartial.
I was looking at, like you said, starting tomorrow and then the RFQs being due August 1st.
Yeah, it is.
That seemed quick to me.
It is quick.
Okay.
And best practices for a process of an RFQ, 2 to 3 weeks. You don't want to go beyond that. They have their templates ready to go. In fact, I contacted all 5 appraisal firms, letting them know, hey, this is what we're doing. They were pleased that we reached out to them and are inviting them to submit an RFQ. So that's a good thing.
And there's not many of these firms out there.
there's
They're
not.
very, very
There's
limited.
not.
And they're
Nationwide.
responding.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have their template ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, as of a year ago, there was only one.
So hopefully, we do get all 5. We do want all 5.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Why don't you, and that was a question for me, so thank you, Deborah. I want Deborah to cover who the committee members are going to be and what the proposal is.
Yes, so we have an amended order for the request for qualifications of appraisal services. And the new committee members will be the chief appraiser, commercial manager, business personal property manager, information technology manager, and residential coordinator. Those will be the new 5 committee members.
And they're all users and working directly with them. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so I'll need a motion to approve the amended RFQ order as presented by Deborah.
Motion?
Motion by John Cudd, second.
Second?
Second by James McGill. All in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. All right, item number 15, discussion and action to approve vested network service purchase agreement for telephone services pursuant to TIPS contract number 240101, including add-on authorized interim chief appraiser to execute contracts.
So here you have the updated proposal service document, and then also the terms and service. There was a lot of back and forth because we had to make sure that they were within our compliant. So this is their terms of service, and their also their addendums that they notarized to being compliant with all the other boycotts and energy boycotts that they have to be in compliance with for our entity. And this is what we found on a co-op, which is TIPS. This is the best you could get.
Let's see here. So we need. So do we have any questions from the board? All right, so I need a motion to authorize the interim chief appraiser to execute the contract. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'm sorry, can we get, I guess it's kind of a two-parter, so to approve the vested networks agreement
Okay.
is one, and then the second one would be to authorize the interim chief to enter into the agreement. That's a two-part.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion for both.
All right, so keep it simple. Second by John Cudd. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Post same sign. Motion carries.
Kevin, do we pass up public comment?
No, we did. We had it at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
She might not have signed it.
Yeah, we had that at the beginning.
If you don't sign it.
Okay, and then item number 18, chief appraiser's report.
Okay. So an update on the 2025 protests. Currently, we're at 6.17% for certification. What that indicates is our total value versus the amount of value that is currently under protest. Statute requires that I actually am at 5% or less of the total value to be able to certify. So certification date is January the 25th. We're really close. We're at 6.17 as of this morning. So tomorrow, July the 18th, I will actually have the ARB give the roll back to the chief appraiser in preparation for certification, which is next week. So there's that. Also, we had, as of this morning, a total of 37,238 protests filed. Of that, staff has worked and completed 28,602 protests. We still have, which leaves 8,636 to be worked for 25. Business personal property still has a deadline looming out there, which those property owners wishing to protest have until the 20th of July. That's their last date to file a protest. So that is my 2025 ARB protest update. We leading to letter B. Update on member appointments of the Board of Directors for election or ballots. We have two members, Gabby Hillpold and Devin Botka, that will be up for election. The letters will be sent.
Election by
By the entities.
entities.
Sorry. So election by the entities, letters will be sent out on or about the last week of July. The entities will nominate by October. We'll have the votes in by December and make the announcements. Okay. Lastly, on my report, I wanted to bring you all up to date on our HVAC system. We recently had a problem with our 30-ton unit that sits on the roof of the building. We've got 2 units up there, a 50-ton and a 30-ton. It was recently brought to our attention just by checking on a compressor that it was in pretty bad shape. It was rusting out from the bottom out. We had the potential of having it fall into the 3rd floor. So we had to run some testing. We had an HVAC company come out and provide service where they welded steel to reinforce it and keep it safe. So it is currently stabilized. And we are collecting bids to bring forward to our next meeting, which will be Thursday, August the 14th. Yes, the 14th.
Sorry, the bids are all in the co-ops.
Yes,
So we're trying to stay within the co-op area.
yes. So that's what I have.
Any questions? All right, moving on to item 19, suggested items for next regular meeting. Anything?
Nothing today. Nothing today.
All right. And
Would you bring that sheet redone with the contracts
Yes,
in order?
certainly,
Okay.
certainly will.
Yeah. and identifying any
Okay.
contracts that'll be up in the next 6 months. Probably just make that a regular
Yeah,
item.
I think so. So we will also, one that we're working on are for our printers. We'll bring that forward. Again, groups of companies that are on a co-op or a buy board, et cetera. So we have one in particular, DEX printers that we'll be bringing forward. Also wanted to mention that from the last meeting, Mr. Cudd had a question about religious exemptions. He and I have discussed that. So he understands what our process is, and we're good on that end.
All right, very good. Need a motion to adjourn? It moves to adjourn. Come on, somebody second that.
Second.
Any seconds?
I was thinking about
The time is 12:01. The meeting is now adjourned.